I haven't really had time to do a lot of reviews and videos in general lately. Been a bit busy restoring a house, cars, and then just doing regular maintenance. I was really hoping to get to a video of this before I really used it, but I just couldn't get to it. So I picked up this Ryobi 4-cycle weed eater recently. And I guess since I've used it a bit, I can give you some of my basic impressions of it. Now, this is the one that you can disconnect the attachments. Like it comes with attachments, and I do have an attachment. In fact, I'm going to pause this and get my other attachment. All right, so anyway, my wife has borrowed the laptop I use to stitch my videos and create my content, so I can't do my intros and stitch my stuff and make sure that the sound in the background, like right now, isn't there. So it is what it is, unfortunately, for this one. But I figured I've done a bunch of videos and I just haven't gotten to editing them yet. So this one's going to be a non-edited video. So anyway, here's the attachment. It's a brush attachment, which I've had to use a lot here. We bought this house and it had been really not maintained for a couple of years, and so there was a lot of bushes and plants that were very tall and very thick, and it was able to destroy those. It works quite well. So anyway, back to having a 4-cycle. Obviously that means that it does not mix fuel. It uses just straight gasoline and has a little oil sump in it, like a normal engine. And because of that, the first thing I noticed right off the bat was that you tend to overflow the little gas container. First, because it's just so huge, or so small, it's hard to really gauge how much fuel you're going to dump into it. But beyond that, because there's no 2-cycle mix in it, it's not colored, and it's almost impossible to see in the container, so you can't really tell you're filling it up and you're about to overflow it. So basically every single time I've filled it, I've overflowed it. So that's kind of one of the odd drawbacks to a 4-cycle. One of the interesting things is, because it's 4-cycle, it's a little bit bigger engine overall, so it's kind of thumpy, and it basically sounds exactly like a dirt bike with a full muffler on it. So it's fairly quiet, and it's got kind of that thumper dirt bike engine sound to it. And at full revs, it winds out at probably 1/3 the RPMs that a 2-stroke does. It cranks over much like a 2-stroke. It takes a few cranks. It's no more easy or worse than a 2-stroke in that way. But it works quite well, and it's so quiet in general. I still wear some sort of ear protection, but it's not even remotely near as necessary as it would be with a 2-stroke. So another thing with this one is, this takes special string that you actually put in backwards. So you actually wind the string in instead of opening up the spool. Changing out the attachments is as easy as just undoing this big wing nut here, and you push down on the little tab and it just pops out, and the other one pops in, and it's got like a male-female connection to the like the spindle, the little line inside that runs them. I don't see any real weakness in it. It works just fine. I have noticed that when you hit things, it doesn't bog the engine at all. I think it essentially clutches it from the gearbox at the end, and each one has its own separate gearbox. Now I couldn't record cranking it, and I cracked my brand new phone anyway, but here it is running. And that's full blast right there, basically. There's really not much to it. It doesn't really have the vibration as much as a two-stroke does. Doesn't move around. Just sits there. Not as stinky, doesn't smoke. It works quite well. And there you go. So that's a Ryobi 4-cycle. Like the S430 means anything, but there you go.